It's your intelligence that can spot a bad deal or make a bad deal good. The more we learn, and there's a lot to learn, the more money we make simply because we gain experience and wisdom as the years go on. We have friends who are playing it safe, working hard at their profession, and failing to gain financial wisdom, which does not take time to develop. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a Reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Reading with Menno, really, because we read different books, and we'll need to start looking at getting the next book very soon, because we are powering through this one. Yesterday, we had a really great cash flow where we were implementing the lessons from the book. Some very motivated people that were achieving some great things and learning some great lessons, so that was wonderful. And I always enjoy that. Excuse me. But let's get into the reading, because that is what you are here for. I'm sure you have things to do, goals to achieve after this. So I'm going to do some reading to get you motivated. And then I'm going to let you go out there and do what you need to do in order to be able to turn Rich Dad, Poor Dad into reality for you. We're on page 198. If you have missed, obviously, the first chapters, if this is the first time you're listening, I'll give you the link to the YouTube account where we have all the recordings up until this point, so that you can listen, get my commentary, and I'll also show you how you can get in touch with me. But let's get into chapter 5. Here we go. Another case for developing your financial intelligence over a lifetime is simply that more opportunities are presented to you. And the greater your financial intelligence, the easier it is to tell whether a deal is good. We actually spoke about this yesterday, about knowing what kind of calculations you need to do so that you can evaluate deals very quickly, whether it is a stock, whether it is real estate, whether it is a business, whether it is something completely different. The faster and the better you understand how to do those calculations, the quicker you can react, because deals go very quickly. Yesterday, somebody missed out on a stock deal because they didn't act quickly enough. And it happens. Good lesson. It's your intelligence that can spot a bad deal or make a bad deal good. The more we learn, and there's a lot to learn, the more money we make simply because we gain experience and wisdom as the years go on. We have friends who are playing it safe, working hard at their profession, and failing to gain financial wisdom, which does not take time to develop. Which does take time to develop. Our overall philosophy is to plant seeds inside my asset column. That is my formula. We start small and plant seeds. Some grow, some don't. Inside our real estate corporation, we have property worth several $1 million. It is our own REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust, or Real Estate Investment Trust, which is what I just translated. So you have to start small. Yesterday, there was somebody who accidentally hit a big deal when we were playing cash flow in the online simulator, and they didn't have enough money at the time and were not able to capitalize on this amazing deal that they had. And so they didn't even see that it was an amazing deal. A great lesson for them. We discussed it in the debrief at the end. It was very valuable. So start small and then build up over time as you gain more confidence, more knowledge, more skills. If you want to play in the big leagues to start off with, if you want to buy apartment complexes to start off with, it's going to be extremely challenging because you don't have the skills to be able to buy basic real estate. Once you have the basic real estate, then you've built up a little bit of skills that you need for the next size up, and then for the next size up, and the next size up. It's similar to going to primary school. When you are in kindergarten, you need to learn certain things, and then you go into first grade and you learn certain things, and you build upon the skills that you already got in kindergarten, and so on and so on. If you start in year 6, you haven't built the necessary skills to be able to understand, to be able to execute what you're learning in year 6. You could have the best teacher teaching you how to do fractions, but if you don't understand how fractions are created, if you don't understand numbers, if you can't count, you're not going to be able to do fractions. So you need to start at the beginning. The point I'm making is that most of those millions started out as little $5,000 to $10,000 investments. All of those down payments were fortunate to catch a fast rising market and increase tax-free. We traded in and out several times over a number of years. We also own a stock portfolio, surrounded by a corporation that Kim and I call our personal mutual fund. We have friends who deal specifically with investors like us who have extra money each month to invest. We buy high-risk, speculative private companies that are just about to go public on a stock exchange in the United States or Canada. An example of how fast gains can be made is 100,000 shares purchased for 25 cents each before the company goes public. 6 months later, the company is listed and the 100,000 shares are now worth $2 each. If the company is well managed, the price keeps going up and the stock may go to $20 or more per share. There are years when our 25,000 has gone to $1 million in less than a year. So be aware of what is out there. So this does not mean that you should go out there and look for exactly this deal. You need to know where you are starting from, what your skill level is, what you're able to do, etc., etc. But these are some ideas. Reach out and find people who are doing things like this. Find out if the rules have changed, because sometimes the rules around these kinds of deals will change. Find the right people who can support you. Find the right people who know about different strategies so that you can execute on different strategies and see what works for you, what you understand, and what tends to bring you good results. And don't hold on to something that isn't bringing you good results, because that will just end up burning your hand. It is not gambling if you know what you're doing. It is gambling if you're just throwing money into a deal and praying. The idea in anything is to use your technical knowledge, wisdom, and the love of the game to cut the odds down, to lower the risk. Of course, there is always risk. It is financial intelligence that improves the odds. Thus, what is risky for one person is less risky to somebody else. That is the primary reason I constantly encourage people to invest more in their financial education than in stocks, real estate, or other markets. The smarter you are, the better chance you have of beating the odds. Also, if you work on your financial intelligence and you create a portfolio and you have more money, then your 5,000, if you have 100,000 in savings, is going to be less risky than when you have 5,000 and you then invest your full 5,000. That makes it difficult to sleep at night when you have 100,000 or 200,000 or 500,000 on the bank and you now invest 5,000. It is not as risky and you can sleep at night without worrying as much, because that 5,000 does not affect you as much as when it is your total amount of savings. The stocks I personally invested in were extremely high risk for most people and absolutely not recommended. I've been playing that game since 1979 and have paid more than my fair share in dues. But if you will reread why investments such as these are high risk for most people, you may be able to set your life up differently so that the ability to make 25,000 and turn it into $1 million in a year is low risk for you. As stated earlier, nothing I have written is a recommendation. It is only used as an example of what is simple and possible. What I do is small potatoes in the grand scheme of things. Yet for the average individual, a passive income of more than $1 million a year is, 100,000 a year is nice and not hard to achieve. Depending on the market and how smart you are, it could be done in 5 to 10 years. If you keep your living expenses modest, $100,000 coming in as additional income is pleasant, regardless of whether you work. You can work if you like or take time off if you choose and use the government tax system in your favor rather than against you. My personal basis is real estate. I love real estate because it's stable and slow moving. I keep the base solid. The cash flow is fairly steady and if properly managed, has a good chance of increasing in value. The beauty of a solid base of real estate is that it allows me to take greater risks as I do with speculative stocks. If I make great profits in the stock market, I pay my capital gains on the gain and then reinvest what's left in real estate, again further securing my asset foundation. A last word on real estate. I have traveled all over the world and taught investing. In every city, I hear people say, "You cannot buy real estate cheap." That is not my experience. Even in New York or Tokyo, or just on the outskirts of the city, prime bargains are overlooked by most people. In Singapore, with their high real estate prices, there are still bargains to be found within a short driving distance. So whenever I hear someone say, "You can't do that here," pointing at me, I remind them that maybe the real statement is, "I don't know how to do that here yet." Great opportunities are not seen with your eyes, they are seen with your mind. Most people never get wealthy simply because they are not trained financially to recognize opportunities right in front of them. I am often asked, how do I start? In the final chapter of this book, I offer 10 steps that I follow on the road to my financial freedom. But always remember to have fun. When you learn the rules and the vocabulary of investing and begin to build your asset column, I think you'll find that it's a fun game as you've ever played. Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn, but have fun. Most people never win because they're more afraid of losing. That is why I found school so silly. In school, we learn that mistakes are bad, and we are punished for making them. Yet if you look at the way humans are designed to learn, we learn by making mistakes. We learn to walk by falling down. If we never fell down, we would never walk. You ever seen an adult that is still crawling because they fell down and didn't learn from it and decided that crawling was going to be better than this walking thing because they were obviously no good at this walking thing? Obviously, I don't know any of those. I'm not sure if you do. They would be extremely few and far between. We learn by making mistakes, we get better, and that is how we develop as humans. So go out, make mistakes. I would suggest doing it at Cashflow or on the online Cashflow version that we run, because that way there's no financial consequence to those mistakes, and then it's easier in real life and you'll make less mistakes. You'll probably still make some mistakes, but they will be not as bad as when you have not practiced or done any simulation at all. Again, I'll share the details if you'd be interested in joining us in just a moment. I'm just going to finish this last paragraph, and then we will talk about how you can get in touch and how you can see the other videos and how you can find out about Cashflow. The same is true for learning to ride a bike. I still have scars on my knees, but today I can ride a bike without thinking. The same is true for getting rich. Unfortunately, the main reason most people are not rich is because they are terrified of losing. Winners are not afraid of losing, but losers are. Failure is part of the process of success. People who avoid failure also avoid success. So we'll leave it at there. If you are enjoying this series and you have missed out on some earlier chapters, you can catch up quite easily. Just go to YouTube to the Passive Cashflow Club, and you'll be able to find all of the other videos. You can watch them in order if you want to. You can watch them out of order if you want to. I don't really mind. And we'll also have more new videos on different topics that people ask me about and things that have come up throughout the cash flow game that we'll also make videos about. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified when those new videos come out. And there'll definitely be topics that are going to be interesting to you. If you like the idea of simulating your life and practicing things in an environment where you're not going to lose money, then definitely have a think about Cashflow and the online Cashflow version that I've created with Mladen, who is online with me right now on Zoom. He is the computer developer behind that. I understand the principles, but not the coding and all of that. So we've been able to team up to create something which takes Cashflow and takes it to a higher level. So it's even more realistic with more taxation and different other things. It is not complicated, so don't worry about that. We'll run you through it. It is very, very easy. And what it will do is it will help you to be able to understand the principles better. It will help you to be able to try out new strategies and do different things that you might not otherwise have done before. And if you're already investing, it will also help you to test out new strategies and see how the tax implications work from an angle that you might not have seen before. If you'd be interested in that, feel free to get in touch. You can get in touch through Instagram. You'll find me at business_team_6_official. So I'd love to see you there. You can obviously see what I have been posting. You can get in touch with me personally. And if you mention Cashflow and that you're interested, I'd get my VA, my virtual assistant, to send you some details. So to get in touch, business_team_6_official. I'd love to see you there. Thank you so much for joining here today. It's always a great pleasure. I'm looking forward to doing some more reading of Rich Dad Poor Dad tomorrow at 8 a.m. Sydney time. Have a great day. Go out and achieve some really great things towards your goals. Take a couple of really good steps towards your goals. live a life that you absolutely love and that you feel really proud to be able to tell other people about. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.